Om Namah Shivaya friends, welcome to Dots of Destiny. In this video, the main topic is the horoscope for the June month and obviously the big transit of Mars in Aries. Mars, after the tumultuous transit with Saturn and Rahu, is finally out and where in its own Mool Trikon. That is a really welcome transit for Mars, and an Agni Tattva planet in the watery sign of Pisces, too much stuck up energy, and Rahu constantly, Saturn and Rahu back to back, putting brakes on that. So now it's a fresh Mars starting its journey. Whenever Mars comes into Aries, there is always some new beginnings associated with it. Whenever it can be a small beginning, it can be a one that you cannot get a miss. I mean, it can be a beginning of experience. It can be literally a beginning of starting something new. That is how Aries is. It is the newness. It is a child just born. So Mars, wherever it is in your horoscope and whatever the houses it rules, it will give a newness to the houses it governs. And especially if you are running a Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha at this moment of time, you will feel the most of it. You are charged to go, you are good to go. So Mars transit is always very unique in the way, other than Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars is the planet. I feel it leaves a mark. Though Uranus is also now transiting in the month of June. I'll make a video on that for all the ascendants. Now the transit of Mars, if you go back to June 2022, Mars had been in Aries at that time. Remember, at that time, if you remember, you had to let go of something and you had jumped on a journey on some other beginning. That is how Mars works. That is the Mangal, the blood in us, which shoots up and it tells her to do and venture out for bringing some changes, much required changes. The initiative needs to be taken by us. Now the Mars this year, like in 2022, it had a back and forth in Aries and Taurus, and Aries was housing Rahu at that point of time. This year Mars will have, in this new journey beginning from Aries transit will be brilliant. Taurus transit will be brilliant. As it moves to Gemini this year, it will slow down and it will go into Cancer and back to Gemini and then Cancer. It will be a long process. This will happen by the end of October. It will move into Cancer, November, December in Cancer, January, February in Gemini, again March, April in Cancer, and it will continue in this way for nearly 6 months in Gemini and Cancer. It's a big transit of Mars awaiting. That means some kind of work needs to be released in this Gemini and Cancer, the zodiac, wherever it falls in your horoscope. But that comes later, towards the end of the year. For now, it's a new beginning, a red Mangal Mars that is raring to go. Let us find out for all the ascendants. I feel the June month is bursting with activities. Let us see how it pans out for each ascendant. For the Aries ascendant, Mars is coming on the Lagna. What can be better than that? Such a relief. The Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 12th house had been really, I think it's taken a toll on your health also. The mental well-being, the process of too much thinking happens, stack up an energy, the energy not able to find its way. Now when Mars is coming into the Lagna, you are raring to go. Yeah, it's a good news, very good news actually, because second house is housing lot of benefics. Jupiter, Venus and Mercury. Jupiter, Venus, Mercury in the second house is a very good yoga, and in the second half Sun, Venus, Mercury will be in your third house. So see, it is a time for a good time to bring in forth your flavor, the flavor of the Aries, the Marsy flavor. Get going, make most utilization of this Mars transit on your Lagna. See, it is a Ruchak Yoga in transit, and if you have a Dasha Antardasha of Mars happening at this moment of time, Pratyanta Dasha also, then it is even better for you that you are able to, get the full utilization of this transit. Because if the especially Antardasha, Pratyanta Dasha is not there, then it will affect you, but not to that extent. So some money you can accumulate, you can spend also for traveling, because third house in the later half of June is also getting activated. You can feel that you have the power now to do many of the things. Don't be too much aggressive. That is the Arian nature. They want to do that, I understand. And because Mars is having an aspect on your 7th and 4th house, these are a little tumultuous aspect of Mars, because the 4th house is a house of peace. We don't want to, because of our behavior, we don't want to put up a show over there, which is not necessary. With the partner also, be gentle, be happy, because it's a happy time. Nice time should be spent in a nice way. Being assertive is good to the extent that it helps us. So what can be said? It's a really nice transit, but most of the time I'll feel because Mars is on your Lagna, you are the Lagna, you want to invest more on your monetary things. Monetary things is the main focus of the whole June month, and especially as long as Mars is on the Lagna, you want to go for some investment also. 8th house matters, Mars is aspecting that house. Be a little slow, you can be a little accident prone, you can get some injuries on the forehead. At times it happens because Saturn is also aspecting your Lagna. So be a little slow and go out, enjoy with family, some get-togethers in the family. Your speech can be very effective, your energy can be very infectious at this moment of time. People can really want to have more of you. Many who are of the age, they want to go for dating, to show out to the world some performances from your end. All is favored, basically all is favored now. Be careful of the Rahu and Saturn over there. Rahu in the 12th is always a Maya in that 12th house of unknownness, because 12th house is that kind of a house we cannot fathom what Rahu is actually up to. So be careful of things also, but don't let this time go out of your hand. Both the 2nd and the 11th house is activated, your Lagna is activated, 3rd house in the second half of the month is activated. What more do you need? All the initiations, journeys, efforts can go into the right direction. Just have a brilliant month ahead. Taurus ascendant. Taurus, your June month is housing Mars in the 12th house. Jupiter is on the Lagna with Venus and Sun. Mercury also comes in. Second half will see the second house getting more activated with Sun, Venus and Mercury, your Lagna Lord, going to the second house. So the theme here is, see, all the houses from your 10th house are active. 10th is having Rahu, 11th is having 10th Saturn, 11th Rahu, then Mars is there in the 12th house. On the Lagna, Jupiter is there, your Lagna Lord is there, and then also the second house. So it's a brilliant time. I mean, see, if you are, because Mars, only thing about Mars is that in the 12th house it can make you little restless, because you want to do so many things. Maybe you are unable to put the whole thing immediately. But because Venus is also combust during this June month time. Nonetheless, if you have to, it is your Lagna Lord on the Lagna. Jupiter is supporting that. Keep the idea steady in your head. Go with the process. Mars is also aspecting your house, your Cancer house, the 3rd house. So your initiations, go a little slow, though it's a debilitated aspect. The problem with Mars in the 12th is lot of pent up energy, and you want to just go. You feel that you are being restricted. No, it's not that. Saturn is very well placed in your 10th house. This June month is really brilliant for you, and your Lagna, that is you, are on the spotlight. It is so beautiful with the kind of planets around the Lagna. The Lagna is supported by people. Mercury is there, Sun is there, Jupiter is there on the Lagna. So you can get guidance of good people around you. Those who are in performance oriented activity, because many Taurus people are in performance type of field, because they are really very versatile in that way. And if you are in food industry, if you are in research industry, all these things are favored, and Saturn is giving you the right kind of opportunities. The 10th house, the Kendra is so much active. Yes, I'll not say that exactly the Mars transit is very good. You can have restlessness, you can have sleep issues, you can feel that you in the competition field, because it is aspecting Libra also, especially if you have a governing Mars Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, you can feel you are caught up in the competition mode. That is also there. Mars is such kind of a planet, but this June month lot of things is happening. You're also thinking about the money things, because see, Rahu is in the 11th house, and in the second half of the month your Lagna Lord with Mercury and Sun is in the second house. It is putting a spotlight on your money matters also. Maybe you're earning good also, some money is churning in. Actually, it is a very well placed planets, barring Mars in the 12th. I'm saying that because Mars in the 12th sometimes gives a lot of restless issues to the mind, and don't overthink things. There is a full moon on your Lagna in Rohini Nakshatra on the 22nd of June. Make the most of it. This full moon is some culmination, some fruition coming into picture. Something that you had been doing for long can come to a fruition. You can see the results, and it is such a nice month to result oriented month. So what can be said more? It's a brilliant month. Make the most of the month. Wish you best of luck for your journey in this month. Gemini is having the Mars transit in the 11th house, and 11th house Mars is like, I want to do something with my networking. Maybe Mars in the networking of the 11th house is not very big networks, but yes, it's in its own sign. The desires are high. Rahu is in your 10th house, and Saturn is in the 9th house, and your Lagna Lord is conjunct with Venus in the 12th house. So what I feel for Gemini people is that yes, Mercury will move on to your Lagna. At this moment, I think you should contemplate a little more, think a little more in the first half of June. Take some rest, take some meditative practices. Go into foreign destinations, or you may visit places alone, or you want to wander around where you want to get some time of your own. Take some of your own time. It's a very creative month. Gemini being such a creative sign, it is a very creative month to first 15 days to think about and dwell into the creativity. You need some solitariness, right? Then as Mars is there for a longer time over here, from 2nd June to 15th of July, 13th or 15th, 1.5 months Mars will be there. Your gusto is there. Your 11th house of desires and money is getting activated. What can be better than that? You have a Mars Dasha or Antardasha. Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, it is even better. Mars in the governing position at this moment in your dashas. It is excellent because Mars is also aspecting your 2nd house. Yeah, it's a debilitated aspect. Some money you can spend for but that is also okay, because we earn to spend something on us. But yes, because Venus is in its own sign in Taurus in the 12th house with your Lagna Lord, there can be some expenses, and Jupiter is also there. That's okay. Sometimes the transits propel you to spend more. When Mercury comes on your lagna after the second half of the month, then you can be even more frugal. You can think that, okay, this is what I need. Your creativity is at the peak. It's really nice time. It's really nice time. All the planets are gearing up for a nice this thing, because see, Venus, Mercury in the 12th is also not bad. Expenses it may give, but it gives you leisure also. It gives you, going around to a place which is a little solitary, into the mountains, hills, where you want to spend some time by yourself. Because Gemini people have this tendency of, I've seen that working, because it is the third house, right? And the sixth house is very important for, original Kalpurush, it is the third house. They put a lot of initiative, lot of work, and then the rest a while, again they go back to it, because that is how it is. And Mars is also aspecting your fifth and the sixth house. So if your your creativity is good, you are prepared to go with the competition also that is calling for you. That is also great actually. I think this is a great month to do all the things that you want to do, for dating, for looking out for people around there, for having a fun time, and also doing some very good stuff which is serious stuff. And spend some time in loneliness and get back to more action when Mercury comes on the lagna. Have a nice June month, Gemini. For Cancer ascendants, Mars is forming a Richak Mahapurush Yoga in your 10th house of profession. What can be better than that? The fifth lord coming into the 10th house. Some responsibilities more, some go daring actions in the 10th house area. It is looking into your 4th house, your lagna. It is putting power, though it's a debilitated aspect. Be careful of that. Don't get irritated. Don't try to make things go in a very high speed. That cannot happen, as Saturn is in the 8th house. You have to be a little careful, but it's a brilliant position of Mars. I feel 10th, 6th, 3, 6, 10, 11 Mars houses are really good for Mars, and 10th house especially, it finds strength over there. Mars and Sun both are brilliant in the 10th house. So nothing much to say about. It is a very good time. Jupiter is in your 11th house. You are looking out for gains may be churning out. Venus is also there, and then in the later part of the June month, it will go into the 12th house with Mercury. So be a little this thing about, if you want to spend, you can. It may happen that you want to spend, because it is the 11th lord going to the 12th house, for luxury items. Venus always Venus is that planet which, when it goes to the 12th house, it thinks about luxury. That is the nature of the planet. Okay, it's not bad, because you are having a good time with the Mars over here in the 10th house. Hope all your actions, all the you had been thinking about all these things, because whenever Mars entered your 9th house, the 9th house is housing Rahu, you had you're thinking that these actions need to be taken, and you become very ambitious suddenly, but those actions were a little hindered by the process, because Saturn, Rahu were in the way. Now it's a more or less clear Mars. It is in the 10th transit of Mars, then in the 11th. Both way it is good. It will have a long transit on the in your 12th house and on the lagna towards the later part of the year. So that obviously it's a big transit of Mars from Gemini to Cancer, as Mars had same kind of a transit in year 2022 from Aries to Taurus. Like roughly it's 6 months that Mars will be hovering around in your 12th and the 1st house. So that's later. As of now, you have two brilliant transits coming out for your most Yoga-karak planet, the 10th Mars and the 11th. And it's a brilliant time to shine bright. because Digbali Mars makes a person do the right things with the right decision, with the correct way of approach and execution. All these are important. And also you are having such beautiful planets in the 11th house of networking. Maybe you are going out with friends, you are enjoying, some desire fulfillment can be there. You are going for dating, you're meeting people. It's a very good month of creativity also, because Mercury Venus is together for the whole month. Though it is, yeah, some combustion is happening with the sun, but that's okay. All the qualities cannot be missed by these planets. It's a nice month and it's a very action oriented month. You will feel like, yes, you have got the power back again. A good nice full moon is happening in your 11th house in the Rohini Nakshatra on 22nd June. It is beautiful feeling over there in Rohini Nakshatra, moon's own nakshatra, a full moon on 22nd June. Some kind of desire can come into fruition, maybe small, maybe big, depending on the dashas that governs you at this moment of time. But all in all, it's a nice transit. Be a little bit wary of the expenses you do, and don't get short tempered. Don't push yourself too much. Things will happen automatically. You just feel brilliant at this moment of time. Have a nice, very action oriented month, I would say. And also to mingle with your friends and your groups, a nice month ahead. Thank you. Leo ascendants. Leo, Mars is another yoga karak planet for you after Cancer, and it is now coming into your 9th house. 9th Mars after the 8th Mars is definitely a relief, no doubt, but then Mars in the 9th house will push you towards, you can feel suddenly you are becoming very over ambitious, as if this is the characteristics of the royal sign. And but here it is not full on action time yet. Yes, you will put some actions because it is aspecting your 3rd house also. You can go into a lot of creative mode also, as Venus, Mercury and Jupiter is in the 10th house. You are a very creative sign. All your professions of a Leo actually cannot be just 9 to 9 work. It gives a scope, because your 3rd house, your 10th lord is Venus. So Venus will always give you that flair of creativity in whatever you do. Now Mars in the 9th house is very good placement for long distance journey, thinking for long distance, thinking for higher studies. Father's health needs to be taken a little bit of care, or he may come out of a if he had been feeling down, he can feel better now. You are also feeling better because 8th house was having too much of planets in it. June month is a very vibrant month, and that's why you need to, because after this the transit of Mars will be in the 10th house. So here pause a little, not pause full stop, it is just that you keep on working, but think how you can escalate the work that you are doing now, because the use of astrology is such that we have to know what the transit is happening and what planet is governing us in that moment of time. Then we can put the most effective use of it. Otherwise every day is another day. So make most of it. You will be thrilled to make short distance journeys. Thinking of long distance journey, can put paper for visas, because Mercury is also, it will be in your 10th house and in your 11th house. Mercury will go into its own sign. It's a gain oriented time, it's a profession oriented time. What more is needed? 9, 10th, 11th is filled with planets, and Saturn over there in the 7th house is giving you the the responsibility, and the thinking process also becomes very sorted with Saturn aspecting the Lagna. This planet is also aspecting Mars, so it will not let Mars do exactly in full force whatever it wants to. It will put the things into a structured approach. That is how Saturn works. We all know that. Do not forget that you have a brilliant Saturn in the 7th house, especially if you are in some kind of business. It is an excellent time to having Saturn in the 7th, having Mars in the 9th, then in the 10th, all the planets in the 10th house, Jupiter is there. You can think so many, I mean, if you're a counselor, if you're a banker, you can do brilliant at that time. It is just a very good time. 11th house planets will be going, your Lagna Lord is now in the 10th, it will go into the 11th in the later half of June month. Brilliant action time, brilliant merrymaking, mixing with a lot of people, making new associations. What more is needed? Have a very fun-filled month and an action-oriented time in June. Virgo. Virgo is now in the month of June. You will be having Mars in your 8th house, and Jupiter is there in your 9th house, and your 7th house is having Rahu, 6th is having Saturn. First and foremost is that if you had been having a problem with your partner, because Mars transiting in the 7th and 8th is not a very good transit, as we all know. If the relationship is such that you are seeking some pleasure outside, then that can also be a little bit of problem, because here the 7th and 8th is the main focus. After the 7th house, after all the problems, if at all you are governing a Mars or Rahu, Dasha, Antardasha, something, then these things can happen. Otherwise, nothing can happen. Simple. And Jupiter is there in your 9th house. If Jupiter is aspecting your Lagna, if you had been feeling quite confused regarding your relationship, some more expectations from the relationship, and see, 8th house is just the immediate, we know it is the second house from the 7th. It is the decisions and the good qualities of the 8th house is very important, of the marriage. So now also when Mars is in the 8th, you can be accident prone. You can have sudden burst of anger. You can feel that you just want to shut down certain things, because Mars, whenever it is in the Gandanta of Revati and coming into this Ashwini Revati Gandanta, and it will come into your 8th house, it can trigger sudden spikes. If you have again I'm telling, if you have a governing Dasha Antardasha running for Mars, Rahu, something like that, then it's not a good time. Otherwise, if you have a Jupiter governing you, or a Venus, Mercury, Mahadasha, Antardasha, anything, it's a good time. Mercury will be in your, now it is in the sign of Aries in 8th house. You may be thinking about money matters, and lot of, Mercury does not do bad in 8th house, but still you can be thinking more about monetary things. You can be thinking about joint ventures and all these things, inheritances if you need, and all this. You can feel a little restless with Mercury being there. As Mercury comes into the 9th house, you can feel journeys can take place, and Jupiter is also there, Venus is also there. So this is a good time. The first 15 days of June, the 9th house is getting lot of things. You can go for pilgrimages, long distance journeys. If you want to put visa papers, you want to put in something into action, all these things is favored. As the Scorpio is getting all the aspects, your 3rd house. If you want to change your place, that can also happen. If you want to sell off something, that can also happen. All these things, because Mars has gone into the 8th house now. Now later, from 15th of June, when your Mercury, your Lagna Lord, comes into the 10th house, you feel more settled, and more because Kendra Mercury makes you understand that what you need to do. But again, that because see, your from your Lagna, there are 3 solid planets in the lower part of the horoscope. Saturn is there in the 6th house. You can feel that you are at times working, overworking, lot of tensions that can happen. 6th house Saturn is not easy to handle. Then you have 7th house Rahu. If you are running some Dasha, Mahadasha of Rahu or something, or some misunderstandings with partnerships, these things. 8th house is having now Mangal, which is a very accident prone planet, and it's a very Mangalic kind of this thing for Mars. So just the same thing Leo had before month. So what I'm trying to say is that for you, especially until Mars is there in the 8th house, till it was in the 7th house, it is a caution oriented time. Still you are not free. Once Mars moves into the 9th house, it is with Jupiter, you can take some initiation, that can happen. Some kind of decisions you can take, some kind of things that were pending for long will suddenly give way. These things will take some time. The June month is a mixed month. Sometimes you can feel stuck up, anger and all these things. Later Mercury comes into the 9th house and the 10th house. It is much better relief, but not yet, because as I said, 6th, 7th, 8th is housing 3 malefics in your lower part. So be very careful with your health at this point of time. If you are having some health issues, some mental health issues, some physical health issues, don't delay. Take it to a doctor. Jupiter is aspecting your Lagna. It will give you the the knowledge to how to approach it. So it's a mixed month for you, Virgo, but yeah, it is at times it happens that we have to deal with these kind of situations. The planetary arrangement is such. Go with it. Next month we'll see what happens in the transit of Mars is happening in your 7th house. So there can be sudden very big attraction for the partner or the opposite sex. Also there can be a lot of quarrels. Both happens when Mars enters the 7th house. So that will be your main flavor in the June month, especially if Mars is in a position of Dasha, Antardasha, Pratyanta Dasha, then these results will be felt even more. Now your Lagna Lord is in Taurus, your 8th house. I feel that many Libra people had been contemplating about money a lot, because the Taurus house is very active, and Jupiter, when it comes into the 8th house, it always gives knowledge, understanding and contemplating and rectification in the house it comes. Like Mars gives an initiates the things in the house it comes, especially when Mars it comes in the Gananda zone of Pisces, Revati and Ashwini. It brings that flavor of some ending and some new beginning. Now this beginning is happening with your partner, maybe in the 7th house, maybe some kind of tussle will be there. Usually Aries and Libra, they are opposite sign. They are loggerheads with each other and then they go along also. It's okay, that happens. You can have a brilliant fight and then you make peace with it also. It shouldn't go over the board, that is the only question. Now you have Rahu in the 6th house, you have Saturn in the 5th house. Saturn is aspecting this Mars, but if the relationship is really sore and it has drained you emotionally to an extent, then some kind of flare up of activities can happen. Be very cautious in this month when Mars is there. Otherwise it's a good time for physical intimacy and intimacy with partners, all other themes, when Mars is there in the 7th and 8th especially. And your Lagna Lord is also in the 8th house. And so 8th house is about inheritances, also about money making matters from these funds and all these things, mutual funds. You may be very optimistic into investing more. You may have, now many Libra are seeing that they are coming into the zone and they have been thinking, why didn't I come into before? Everything has its time. You cannot prepone or postpone or think it will happen at the right time. But it's a nice month when Venus comes transits from your 8th to the later half of the month, when Venus and Mercury together, also Sun, it will transit in your 9th house. You'll have higher knowledge, you want to travel, you want to start some new thing, you want to put in effort, you feel rejuvenated at that point of time. In the 8th house, what happens when planets go into the 8th house, it puts you in the mood of more of a thinking process, of things that do not come into the light. That is a problem with the 8th house. In the 9th house, it's a bright house, and it treads you path toward the thing that you want to do. Mars in your 7th house is also aspecting your 10th house of profession. So here some irritation can come in. It's a debilitated aspect, also your Lagna. whenever Mars aspects a Lagna in the 10th house in the second house, it is putting some kind of direction over here. Don't get very flared up and charged up if the Mars is in a governing position in Dasha Antardasha. Wait, not wait exactly, put the things into action, but also don't give it a rush, as Saturn is there in your 5th house and it is telling something. Your intellect may be clubbed up, because Saturn in the 5th house is good for name, fame, but the intelligence or the intellect gets a little bit more, it feels pressured up over there. So that can happen, but transits are transits, they will happen. It's a mixed month for you. I cannot say exactly it's a brilliant month, but it's a mixed month, and you go ahead and because see, your Lagna Lord is a very fast changing sign. It is, and because all the majority of the Saturn, Rahu, Mars is taking the 5th, 6th and 7th, and Jupiter in the 8th. So all these planets are lined up in this area. So your progeny can be point of discussion, or your progeny can do good. 6th house Rahu can create some conflict in the workplace, some issues you have to deal with in a Rahuish way, in a tricky way. 7th house Mars can give you some challenges in a relationship. It's already, if it already exists, or also it can flare up a little bit here and there. And 8th house Jupiter is telling you to put more action into your second 8 axis, because that is the money axis. So these all together can you can feel that you're losing patience, or you are having too much to handle, because it is just opposite to the Lagna. All the planets are lined up. But it's okay, that is how it is as of now. As you move ahead, we'll see what the next months hold. As of now, it's a mixed month, but as your Lagna Lord, Venus, Mercury transit in the 9th, you'll feel much better. You can go for trips, have some relaxation, because if it is a tough time, we have to understand, or if you have to go through a lot of things, not always the time is tough, maybe the responsibilities are more, you are back to back doing things, you have to rest a while. That's how it is. Thank you. Then comes Scorpio. Scorpio, your Lagna Lord Mars is coming into the 6th house. You can feel very pepped up in your daily routines. You can go for physical activities that can tone up your body. You want to spend, because it is having an aspect in the Libra area. It is putting an aspect on your Lagna also, which is good. You are feeling you can suddenly feel that, okay, I know what to do, because till now your 5th house was having this tumultuous conjunction of Mars, your Lagna Lord, and Rahu, that was too much to handle. Or this is now some ending and beginning happening in your daily routine. That can also happen. You are ending some kind of a routine which was not of much use to it. Now you're going into a much better routine. Start it. Saturn will put some pressure on it. Saturn is aspecting your Lagna Lord. It is aspecting your Lagna. Jupiter is there in the 7th house aspecting your Lagna. So many things are happening in the Scorpio sign. How many planets are aspecting your Lagna? Where will you run for? You have to make a change. A change is must for Scorpions this year. Again, I don't know how I'm getting a lot of people, either Scorpio Moon or Scorpio Lagna. I think they are going through a very transformative time, and it is bound to happen when so many planets are aspecting your Lagna. But understand, the transformation, you go slow by slow, it's step by step, and it brings a new you. That is the aim of it ultimately, and it's for better. But anyway, Mars now is in a good position actually. 6th house Mars is good, and your 7th house is ruling a lot of partnership. Many planets are there, partnership is there, you are feeling nice. Venus is there, Venus then goes to the 8th house. You can have some intimate moment with your loved ones. That is good. If you're looking for somebody, you can get somebody. Be out in the open, feel charged or feel happy, feel confident, then you'll be able to attract the right kind of person. If you're looking for marriage, this is the time that you can attract, or you can come across people like that. because Jupiter is the guidance over there. Venus, when it came into your 7th house in its own house with Mercury, can start up a banter. It goes into the 8th house together. Sun is also there, your 10th lord. So, or a fatherly figure or some kind of things that is guiding you also. It's a good time. I mean, now from June, it's a time to put things into action in a slow, steady, structured way. It's no way a bad time. I cannot take it that. Mars in the 6th is good. It does good. It is aspecting your 9th house, your 12th house. You can go for a foreign journey. You can go for traveling. You want to go with your loved one, your partner. That is also there. All this is the flavor of the June month. It's a nice month for you. It is 100% nice to very good month. And obviously depends a little bit whether you are now running a Ketu Mars or Rahu Mars. A little caution is required whenever Mars comes into the 6th, 7th, 8th. Is a little injury prone at times. Is aspecting your Lagna also. Saturn is also aspecting your Lagna. You can feel some pressure also. Nonetheless, it's a good month. Have a nice time, Scorpio. Sagittarius, Mars in this June month, Mars is coming into Aries in your 5th house. It's a good transit. It's a brilliant transit actually, and all the 5th house matters. Your intelligence can suddenly become very active. Your love partnership can become very active. You can meet somebody in your office area then, because your job, I mean daily routine, Venus and Mercury is there in the 6th house with Jupiter. That can also happen. It is a good time after Mars comes out of your 4th house, because it is a troublesome Mars in the 4th house with Rahu. And especially if Mars is where they're in a governing position in your horoscope, Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha, you could have felt the heat of it. But now it's better time. It is your intellect is shining. You are feeling free. You are feeling that you can go. It is aspecting your 11th house of gains also, and so you are working. You are gaining. It's a nice time. I mean, some progeny related things also come up. You can have some activities, because Mars also in the 5th is a hobby area, your creative area, I mean. So you can put in some creativity with sports kind of a thing. All these things favored in this month. And then your 6th lord with Sun, Mercury is there in the 6th house, then it will go to the 7th house. So partnership is also favored in this month, and you can, if you have Venus Mercury dasha running or something, some benevolent dasha running, then you can start up a relationship also. Those things can happen. But yes, your Lagna Lord is in the 6th house. You can feel the focus is in the daily routine, daily job, how to improve your situation at work, how to get along with your people working with you, all these things. But one thing is that Mars is aspecting your 8th house, and also the 12th house. So be a little careful about that. Some health issues, if Mars is there in the Pratantardasha, Antardasha, some injury prone thing can happen, some health issues, some restlessness can coming. Otherwise, but yes, Mars I have seen in the 5th house gives a very rock solid mind. I mean, the person is sometimes very rigid with some things, so don't get too much of rigid, because Saturn is also aspecting your 5th house. Too much of rigidity will not give way. It's a good month. It's a dynamic month. It's a move forward month, and to garner in the gains also. Especially if you have a Mars dasha, Antardasha, it will bring in the gains. From here Mars goes in the 6th house. That is also good. So it's a mixed kind of a good month. Venus Mercury, whenever Venus Mercury are together, they give a jolly feeling, and it goes to the 7th house when it will be aspecting your Lagna. You can feel free a little bit towards the next half of the month. You can feel in a jolly mood, to do some childish entertainment. These kind of things happens when Venus Mercury are in together. Sun is also there. Yeah, a little bit combustion of the Venus can be some issues because your 11th lord and 6th lord, but all the qualities due to combustion of the sun doesn't go amiss. That is to be remembered. It's a mixed good month, so a lot of activities will happen, so make the most of it, Sagittarius. Capricorn, the transit of Mars is happening in your 4th house. This is not a very welcome transit for Mars, though in its own house. Property related matter, if you want to all the real estate property, buying car, buying home, all these can or selling off also can be favored, but the house environment is not very good because Mars is Dikshunya in this area, and also a 4th house Mars is the least that we want. 4th, 7th, 8th house Mars, 12th house Mars is not favored. So if there is some problem at the home front, you have to deal it carefully. You have to, you cannot just spit your things. Many people, some Capricorn people are having, because second is housing Saturn, and Saturn is aspecting this Aries Mars, some problem with money, with wealth related to the real estate. If you have to sell off something and you have a problem with people not giving, not coming into the same joint property selling, if there is a quarrel at home, some kind of problem happening at the home front, all this will take a peak. So you have to deal it in a very intelligent way, I'll say. Because see, Rahu in the 3rd will want you to put some action, but you don't have to put an action when it is not needed. Your 5th house Jupiter is a saving grace because it is aspecting your Lagna. It will give you the patience and the understanding and the knowledge how to deal with situations. Because even though your Yoga-karak planet Venus, Mercury will be in the 5th house, they will go along with Sun in the 2nd half of June in the 6th house. So this situation, 6th house matters. The thing is that 6th house is Rogrin Shatru house, and Venus, as we know, does not work very good in the 6th house, in the sense due to all the relationship front I am selling. Whatever is happening in your horoscope, it is not bad exactly, or rather good for the material part of your life, the daily job, daily routine, the understanding, the bond with the kid. Your children can do good, some merrymaking with children can, all these things, suddenly your children can be quite mature, all these things can happen. But because the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all the planets are over here, so it is this half of the horoscope, not the midheaven part. Here so many planets gearing up means some kind of situation which is related to your family, your siblings, your money, your progeny, your daily jobs. All these things are the focus. Now here we don't want, actually in the 2nd house, in the 4th house, we don't want malefics, but Saturn has been in the 2nd house, and it has been giving you a lot of structured attitude towards your finances. Rahu is telling you to take actions, but these actions are emotional actions due to Pisces Rahu. Now when 4th, Mars was also there. Now when Mars come into your 4th house, you want, because it is aspecting your 10th house also and your 7th house, all the relationships are having a tough time. It can have. I'm seeing that Capricorn people are complaining about that. Some relationship issue is coming up due to your family members, due to your own relatives, all these things. Or maybe a shift in your locality is to happen and you're not finding it very, the kind of expectation you had. The 5th house is the only good thing. You can do mantra chanting, you can so that you become calm and so that you're able to handle the situations. The First half of the month will see fifth house having a lot of planets. Your creativity can take a boost, but after the 15th, even your Venus, Mercury and Sun will be in the 6th house. Daily job will be good, but some kind of, what should I say, the distraction, I mean not distraction, the mind can get a little irritated at times, and you want to leave it and sort to a little bit of lonely time. If you want that, do that, because a lot of things happening at the same time can make you feel too tired at times also. It is a okay transit, not a very great way, because that Mars transit mainly is a very caution point to be handled. Till it will happen till 13th or 14th of July. So this 1.5 month you have to be very patient with, having a lot of patience with your family issues, with your home front. If any kind of quarrel is there, don't flare it up. Let it be. Let it be for the time being, and it will solve eventually. Especially if you are having a Rahu, Saturn, Mars, Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha clashing, knowingly you have to have patience to handle the situation. Aquarius, in the month of June you will see Mars in your 3rd house. That's a good position for short distance journeys, for initiations, for starting a new thing, for confidence, for applying your efforts in an area, for sports activities. All these things Mars does good. Only maybe your younger siblings can have a bit of quarrel with you if you are having a governing dasha of Mars, Rahu, Saturn, like that. So Saturn on the Lagna is there for quite some time, can feel challenged because of different challenges that Saturn put in. Rahu Mars in the 2nd, I feel it was a very bad yoga happening in the 2nd house. Now it's a much better relief that has Mars come into the 3rd house. Now if you, because you have a Jupiter in the 4th, your heart can be at content, you can feel happy. Also Venus, Mercury, Sun is there in the first half of June till 15th in your 4th, and then it will go to the 5th. So home front and progeny things can be feeling good, sorted, and you can feel happy, peace. You can feel a renewed gusto to do things. You can start something because always when Mars comes into Aries, it's a new beginning. So that kind of situation will happen. It's a all in all much better time than already you had been going through. If you have pending property related things, sell it off, or if you want to buy it, you can start the process. When Mars comes into Taurus, you can go for it. You want a vehicle, that also the process can be started, you can go for it slowly. All these things are favored. It's a much better time because see, your 4th lord, when Venus being in the 4th house, and later Mercury, Venus with Sun in your 5th house. So it is a good time for creativity, peace, at the home front, nice gathering. It is a good time actually going for vacations, short distance journeys. If you have to for office purposes, because it is your 10th lord coming in the 3rd house, you may have to travel. Travel can happen way much. That is very much possible in this month, some kind of a travel. So this is all happening for it's a month gearing up for a lot of activities, and I feel that while peace and having good time at home is important, activity, without activity, what is it is a good way to lead a life. I feel like that. So start your action. It's a good time to start your efforts, actions, and slowly and steadily you progress. Have a good month, Aquarius. Pisces. Pisces, your Lagna was housing Rahu and Mangal. two very high malefics on the Lagna. Though Mars is a good planet for you, but after all it's a malefic planet, and with Rahu, it was giving you a lot of tension. Now you will ease it off a little bit as Mars comes into the second house. You can, if you have a dasha, pratyanta dasha of Mars, Jupiter is in the third, so first, second, third and 12 all are very much active. So you have journeys you are having, money is being spent, and Mars can put an effort on conservation of the money also. Something you will be able to save. You can think about investment, you can think about fixed deposit. Mercury and Venus will be together for the whole month of June nearly. First it will be in your third house, then it will be in your fourth house. So it is a nice time with your siblings, maybe in your neighborhood, a change of neighborhood. Then in the fourth house also Mercury and Venus is good. You can have a nice time at home. Some addition to the, a get together with the family can happen. This is a good time actually. Barring the fact that obviously Rahu is there on the Lagna and Saturn is there on the 12th house, whatever decision you take, whether health related, whether journey related, whether money related, whether changing a place, whatever you put in most, think about it again and again before jumping into a thing. That is very important, because otherwise money can go waste, your health can be affected, and all these things are created by the malefics that is in your, the Lagna is in Pap Kartari, Mars and Saturn being, and Rahu is on the Lagna. I feel the Aries ascendants are having a lot of pressure. Personally, they are going through some transformative thing, but it will give way slowly. That is how the planets work. Saturn will come on the Lagna, and Rahu later next year will change sign to a 12th house. So it is not an instant relief. You have to go through the process. It is a process, but some kind of new journey will start. Some kind of new initiation will start, because it is your Bhagya Lord. So Mars is your 9th Lord. So it will change something. It isn't, it is also aspecting the Scorpio house. Many planets are aspecting Scorpio house. Some change in your fortune is happening. It takes time to, make the original shape it wants to come into, but nonetheless the process will start as Mars comes into Aries, and it's okay. You will use your finances judiciously. Some expenditures will be there, but some add-ons will also be there. And if you are going for a short distance journeys or somewhere, if you are changing your neighborhood or something, it will happen. At first you may feel a little unsettled, but slowly you will go into a better situation. So it is not a bad month. It is, I will say it is good to better, and go with the flow. We'll see later what transits puts us in what kind of a situation. So this was the transit of Mars in Aries. It's a very brilliant transit of Mars. Make the most of it. I'll come up, the next transit which I want to talk is about Uranus, which is also coming in Taurus. Taurus is having an influx of planets. Let's see how Uranus treats all the ascendants in Taurus for the next 7 years starting from June. Till then, take good care. Have a nice day. Thank you.